My name's Blinky, and welcome to my garage. So today, we're going to try and get these bumpers looking from this gungy, rusty, bent, horrible bumper to this. Hopefully this image actually looks good. We'll find out. First step, after removing all of these wonderful brackets, gonna get all the bolts that come with this, put these in a bucket. They just fit, which is good. Bolts go in there too. Hopefully it's going to be deep enough. And I've just got typical cleaning vinegar. White vinegar will work fine. Basically, I'm going to pour these into the bucket. This is going to soak overnight, and all this rust is going to get eaten away, and I'm going to end up with some really nice clean steel that I can then spray again to make it look really nice and get rid of all this rust. Just for the sake of it, while I'm at it, I may as well de-rustify all of these. So let's stick it all in, eh? Well, I don't really have any more rusty parts, so that'll do. I'm gonna put this aside and we'll get into straightening this bumper. All right, so this guy is badly dinged up. So I'm going to use a mix of hammering technique and maybe a little bit of squishing in the hydraulic press. I already took one bend out of it with the hydraulic press and it actually worked pretty well. So I'm just going to keep stuffing around with it and just squish it in these areas to give it a bit of shape back, a little bit of life. And then I'm not going to keep it chrome because me hammering it and squishing it, all the rest of it, is going to destroy the finish. And it is pretty much screwed anyway, so I think this is going to get sprayed black. Maybe matte black, I don't know. But it'll be black anyway, that way it'll at least kind of suit the look of the car and the black guards. So let's get squishing in the vise, and then after that, hopefully we can start hammering and massaging these other dents out. Not sure how this is going to turn out, or if it's going to be any good, but you can come on the journey with me to find out. Well, that took out a little bit of it, but realistically I think I need to do a little bit more, maybe without the flat plate, just to push it nicely in these areas to poke it back out again. That is not bad. It's a heck of a lot straighter than what it was. There's a bunch of little tiny dents throughout, which I'm not ultimately concerned about. Like I said, I am going to be spraying this black, but that's come up a lot straighter than what it was previously. Trust me, I am no professional panel beater by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, until I can maybe find some new ones or score a deal on some smiley bumpers, I guess, because these are the semi-ugly ones that have the black edge on them. They'll do for now. They'll definitely do for now. So what I'm going to do now is scuff the daylights out of it. Might actually use a strip disc or something and scuff it right up, then put some etch primer on it and see if we can get this looking nice and neat. Alright, so basically I just use the grinder to knock off any high spots that I made while I was kind of panel beating this back into shape, just to get it roughly flush again. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but I definitely want it to be better than what it was. So this is going to come out pretty good. Basically, we're just going to treat this as if it was a body panel on a car, because it's getting painted. Let's continue. Alright, that doesn't look half bad. The bumper is still slightly twisted, just a small amount through here, but I don't think my skill level can remove that, so it's just kind of going to stay the way it is there. But the rest of it's actually come up really straight. And now that it's all one color with primer, I can kind of see any areas that I may need to work on again, which really isn't much. You can see here where I used the grinder to knock down my high spots. So what I'm going to do is actually just put a very small amount of, do I use filler or do I use filler primer? I am just going to use some primer filler in a can. These scratches are so small, a couple of coats of this over these spots will remove that. And I'll hit it with some 600 or 400 grit sandpaper just before we put some color on it. Alright, now we'll leave this dry for a good maybe half hour, an hour before I start sanding that again. In the meantime, we can start cleaning up these ugly looking end rubber pieces. This one on the right hand, you can see here, this is all smushed out of place and bent. It just shouldn't really look like that. So good thing is this does have like a metal frame on the inside, so we should be able to bend this and manipulate it back to the shape it should be from the beginning. Well, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. It's not perfect, but it is actually better than what it was. So let's give this whole area a bit of a scuff up, just so it looks relatively tidy again. Try and remove some of these ugly looking scratches. That's come up okay, actually. There's a few scratches and divots in it, which is to be expected, but you know, I can't get that out. Let's put some, I don't know, plastic trim, I don't know, rejuvenator on it. I should have some of that. There it is. I knew I had some. Meguiar's Gold Class Trim Detailer. Restore stuff. Not half shabby. Nice. Oh well, I'll do the same to the other one. Back to the steel bumper, we'll give it a quick sand down on those rough edges, just to get rid of some of those scratches. I think then we're ready to put some paint on it. So most of the scratches have come out. It's not perfect. This area here is probably the worst, but this is where the number plate goes. Kind of lucky that that's in that position. It's a lot better here than what it was before, and also up along this rail and the top where I use the grinder. So let's get some color on it. All right, I'm going to use some good old black paint in a spray can. Looking pretty good. I might put those ugly looking rubber ends on now. This has had a bit of time to dry. You can see it's not perfect. I'm not going to hide that, but it sure is a heck of a lot better than what it was. So let's get to putting these rubber ends on and seeing what it looks like semi-completed. This left side is a far cry better with the fitment over the right side, which has still got a gap here from that original damage. But we can live with that for the meantime. What we got to do now is wait for the brackets to finish de-rusting in my tub of vinegar. Then we get to put it on the car. Alright, we are back and it is the next day. And I've had my rusty stuff sitting in there. Now we are going to pull it out, put it on a rag, and inspect the progress of this vinegar eating rust. So they've come up half alright. These brackets were covered in thick rust. There's still, by the looks of it, is rust on the surface. So maybe the vinegar I used wasn't as strong as some others you could get. This was just cleaning vinegar from my local supermarket. But some of these nuts and bolts have come up really nice. Like these I know were very rusty before, and they're looking not too bad. They've got all this kind of coating on them that I've got to wash off. Also, I think the vinegar eats into some of the protective coating on some of these metal bolts, so it might be worthwhile before you put them away to just give them a light coating in some oil, basically, just to keep them from rusting. Here's a dirty rusty spring that I put in. That's come up really, really good actually. There is no rust on that whatsoever. So that's not too bad. These brackets is what we were really trying to focus on with the whole purpose of this exercise. So I've got my scourer. I'll get some soapy water. I'm just going to scour the top and hopefully that rust comes straight off. So in all honesty, I'm not too impressed with the vinegar trick. It didn't work really well at all on these metal brackets. I don't know whether or not maybe just the rust was too embedded, or if the vinegar that I bought, which is that there, maybe it's just not strong enough. I don't know. I gave it a whole day. These have still got rust over the top of it where it hasn't eaten into it. The bolts have come out not too bad though, so these will clean up all right. There are some super rusty bolts which I need to clean up and just inspect, but again, it hasn't taken it right off. So the spring's super clean. Maybe it was just really, really light surface rust on that. Not 100% sure. Anyway, I'm gonna hit this with rust converter because why not? Paint them up, get them on the bumper, and then we can actually put the bumper on the car and have a look at it. Let's go. All right, now that we got these covered in some color, let's reattach them to the bumper. One thing I am missing is the indicators for both sides. They have been ordered. They should be here in about a week. When I get them, I'll be able to stick them in. They're brand new, 50 bucks off eBay. They will work absolutely fine. So let's quickly get these on the bumper and then the bumper on the car. just had to adjust this bracket over this way, probably 1/2 centimeter, so it would fit inside this without scratching the inside of it. All right, so down in there are the bolts that we got to tighten up. Very simple, I'm sure you can all work that out. 2 here and on the other side as well. Well, that was a squeeze, but this thing is awesome. And there we go, bumper is on. That is not too bad. And being black, it kind of hides in with the rest of the front, which is really good. I always thought that the bumpers on these cars, they stood out way too far, and especially with those big rubber ends, they just kind of looked a bit dicky. I'd love to get a set of the smiley ones that actually wrap around the front with the chrome. But for now, this will do. With the indicators in there later, that'll actually come up really good. One step closer. Now I've got to do the rear one. Thanks for watching.